Can't accord and told on me. Put that on something. I sold my soul, homie. Called the highway patrol on me, plus the sheriffs and cops. He told him my name was Eric and I carried a Glock. Soon as you start blowing shots, them niggas going to tail. Don't have a meeting with the cops and then you going to jail. They'll tell him about the shooting, take him, show him his well. DA trying to see your cash, they gon' throw him the nails. They wanna throw me up in the cell and have me with a L again. Back to strip searchers and guards, read my mail again. Have me far away in the bay, I'm talking Pelican. Eating cold ass soy burgers and warm gelatin. I'm far too intelligent to fall for that twice. Niggas yelling gang gang and ain't about that life. And they'll turn rat right in front of your face. Get you found guilty plus 100 years on the case. Your mama in the court with tears running all on her face. Her baby shackled feet, hands and waist. Goddamn.
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down. So today, man, we back once again, man. We got a tremendous story popping off today, man. So some of you guys may be familiar with this brother. He goes by the name of Big Stay. I think I interviewed him maybe about 2 or 3 months ago, man, but it was a totally different interview. The last time I interviewed him, unfortunately, he was locked up. He was incarcerated, man. I believe he was 17 years and 6 months into a 50 to life sentence. He had got arrested, I believe, at the age of 14, 15, somewhere around there. But we'll let him get into all that, man. Once again, for you guys who may not know or realize, the brother is free. He is home, man. Hey, congratulations, Stay. How you doing, homie?
Hey, man, it's your boy Big Stay, man. I'm highly blessed, highly favored, man. I'm in great spirits, man. Shit. Every day I just wake up and smile.
That's what's up, man. So as I was explaining a couple seconds earlier, you got arrested at what age?
I got arrested at the age of 14, and then at the age of 16, I was convicted by a jury of 12 and sentenced to 50 years of life in a state prison.
Wow. And so for those who may have not seen the last interview, tell everybody where you from.
I'm from Sacramento, G Parkway Stars.
Okay. And so like he just said, you guys, he was arrested at the age of 14, and at the age of 16, he was sentenced to 50 years to life, man. So that's definitely that's definitely a whole lot. So the last time I talked to you, you was locked up. You was in, we didn't want to say at the time, but you was in Centinela prison. I was interviewing you and stuff, and you had told me that you had some court dealings going on in the work, some type of an appeal or something, and that ultimately helped you obtain your freedom. So what exactly had going on in the course that helped you get free?
Well, at that time when I came on your podcast for the first interview, I had filed the People versus Her. Juveniles, they got the functional equivalent to life without parole, can be resentenced as long as they was under the age of 17 and that they had fit one of the 4 criteria. And one of the 4 criteria was this had to be your first time ever being arrested without a juvenile felony. So I was 14, and then I had fit the second criteria by being this is my first time ever being arrested.
Okay. And then so for us out there who don't know, explain a little bit more in depth. So ultimately what happened? The judge basically
ultimately what happened is the judge ended up denying my People versus Her 1170D, but they got a new assembly bill called AB 600 that just went into effect 2024. And she said, just based on my sentence as a juvenile and the way that they prosecute juveniles now, that she was going to take it up on the court's own motion to recall my sentence.
So that's wonderful, man. And so let's go back a little bit, though. What type of lifestyle and stuff was you leading that eventually led to you being charged with a murder at the age of 14?
Well, I was leading the criminal lifestyle. I started at a very young age. Like I said on the first interview, it started off as like petty crimes, and then it continuously escalated from stealing out of stores to stealing out of cars to doing house burglaries. Eventually to getting in fights at skating rinks and things of that nature, and then to the ultimate crime in the gang life, which was a murder.
Right. And so, were you gang affiliated?
Yes, I was gang affiliated.
Uh-huh. And so do you feel that gang affiliation, do you feel it contributed to the lifestyle you was living, or do you feel that it contributed to the type of ideology that you subscribe to?
Very much so, because you know, like I say, if I would have never got involved in the criminal gang, then you know I would have never had somebody that I felt that was my enemy, and you know senselessly took his life, which you know to this day I regret and I have a deep remorse for it. But I know that if I would have never joined the gang, and you know I'd have had my father figure in my life, because like I said in the first interview, at the age of 8, my father also went to prison for murder, and then the same year he was getting out, I was entering into the criminal justice system as an inmate, as a juvenile inmate.
Right. And so you said something to me that was profound, man. Earlier, you said you senselessly took his life. So that just lets me know, and that you have matured in leaps and bounds from the period of your initial arrest to now. So how has that transferred over to the life and the things that you're doing now that you are free?
Well, you know, since I've been out of prison, like I said, you know, mainly I use my main platform, which is Instagram, big underscore stay underscore, you know, to promote peace and unity amongst the community. And, you know, I'm out here, you know, talking to these little dudes and letting them know that, you know, the reality of the situation, that, look, man, at the age of 14, you know, one bad decision, one bad choice cost me 17 years of my life and had me senselessly take another human being's life for something that I thought was true, which when you go to jail, you realize that it's really not true. And that the same people that y'all out here, you know, calling your friend, your homie, or, you know, your affiliate or your gang member, that these the same dudes that ain't gonna pick you up when you fall. These the same dudes that ain't gonna go pick your son up when he needs to go to a game or something. You know, look out for him just based on. So, you know, I came out here to shed light on, you know, what's the reality of, you know, the lifestyle that, you know, people may be continuously living or stuck in a cycle.
Most definitely. And so let me ask you a question, because I definitely know I didn't ask you earlier. How long have you been out?
Well, I've been out 3 weeks and 2 days today.
Right. And so once again, I don't know if I said it earlier to you, homie. Congratulations, man. This is something that sincerely makes me
Man,
happy, because I know what it's like, man. I can see the joy all in your face, man, and it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. And so
man,
we'll get into a little bit more of what you are doing now since you've been out, and how does it feel to be home and stuff like that. But I still want to delve back into your past, man. What was it like for you, for those who may have not seen the first interview? What was it like for you at 14 years old, man, being
man,
charged with murder?
being charged with murder, it was like at first, you know, it's like, you know, you committed the crime, but in your mind, you trying to psych yourself out, like, you know what, man, I'm gonna be home tomorrow. And then especially since this was my first time ever being arrested, it's like, man, I'm gonna be home tomorrow. And then, you know, as you sitting there longer and longer, reality starts to sink in, and you start to get going through all these different emotions. So, you know, you might be sad, you might be mad, you know, you might be angry, you might feel self-entitled. And, you know, at such a young age, you can't really process it because your brain is not mature enough to be able to process what's really going on.
Right. And so I remember during our first interview, you said something along the lines of, once you had been arrested at some point in time, your mother basically told you, baby, you know, I'm gonna be there for you, but it's only so much I can do for you, because now the system has you. You know, how did that feel, man, hearing your mom tell you that, baby, you know, I really can't do much for you because the system has you now?
Well, you know, at that point, it's like, man, my mama can't help me. It's just over. You know, it's like you know, you feel like you've been thrown to the wolves. So it's like, you know, all we got growing up, especially coming from a single parent household, is your mother. Mother is everything. She's Superman. She there when you need her. She gonna get you everything. So it's like when my mama told me that, it's like I just lost all hope.
Right. And so now that you are older, you are obviously more wiser in wisdom. How how did going to jail at such a young age, at the age of 14, and then being thrown into a culture of, you know, fights, violence, where that type of thing is approved of? How, looking back now, how did that affect your ideology and the way you viewed life? Did it make you feel you had to even become harder because you was going to prison?
Well, yeah, just being in jail periods, you got to become a whole different animal because it's like if I go for anything, everybody gonna take advantage of me. So it turns you into being an aggressor. It gives you the aggressor mindset. It's like okay, only the strong survive, and you're gonna pick on the weak. And in order to survive in this culture, in this mind state, that you have to have the mindset that I have to be the aggressor at all times.
Right. And so now also looking back on things, do you felt that some of the older people that you were around, because they definitely influenced you. So it's all about if they influenced you in a positive manner or in a negative manner. So now you looking back on that, how do you feel that, some of your influences were from older people?
Well, most definitely looking back, I see that people didn't. I can't say they had the wrong influence, but I can see that they was misguided themselves, and that basically they was trying to teach us what they only knew, and they didn't know much. So I felt like I was given the wrong influence, but I don't think that it was consciously made, because people was teaching you only what they know.
Right. And,
So
and no, go
that's
ahead.
how I look at it.
And no, I definitely understand what you're saying, going through similar situations, being locked up, incarcerated. People are basically telling you what you feel you need to know to survive and thrive in the elements that you are in.
Exactly.
So especially at that time, we feel that it's good information because in our minds, we're assuming that it is helping us to basically, survive.
Exactly. Exactly. They giving you the tools that is the only tools that they got.
And so you did 17 years. So I guess I'm just trying to do some quick math real quick. So you got out around 32, 33, something like in there. What was more now looking back on it? What was some of the more scarier things that you experienced during the period of your incarceration?
I think the most scariest thing I experienced was somebody getting, well, not somebody, but multiple people getting stabbed to death while I'm on the yard, and it's happening right in front of my eyes. And they just butchering them, and you just see the blood squirting everywhere. And you looking around the yard, and you would think that people would be scared, but everybody's on the yard laughing. So it's like just being in that type of environment. Whereas if I get killed, that when I'm on that ground, that these people are so desensitized that they're gonna be laughing at me.
Right. And for those who have never been to prison, about how many people can be on a yard at any given moment when a person is being stabbed? How many convicts or prisoners do you have on that yard?
Well, it can be hundreds, at least 2, 3, 400 prisoners on the yard at that time.
Okay, and so this right here is I'm trying to paint a scenario for the person that's never been to prison. Imagine what it's like being on a prison yard. You got at least 200 people outside. You are getting stabbed. Somebody's trying to take your life, and nobody around, not even one, seems to care. Some people don't seem to care, but some people are entertained by what's going on. That must be just a horrific feeling to know that you're about to lose your life and not one person cares. So what is that when you see a situation like that and you're watching a person get stabbed and then you go back to the cell? What does that do for your psyche? What do you start thinking now?
Well, now you start thinking that I can't trust nobody because a lot of times that it happens, dudes will be working out with the dude, slapping his hand, smiling in his face right before it happens. And then now you see the same dudes that was smiling in his face and slapping on my hands is the same dudes that's doing something to him. So now it's like I can't trust nobody but myself. I'm my own self, last line of self-defense. So now that puts you in the warrior mind state, whereas it's literally be killed or be killed. So now you walking around with a knife on you, and things of that nature.
Right. So basically, it makes a person realize how cutthroat the penitentiary is, and
Exactly.
so during your 17 years and some odd months or whatever, how many people do you think you saw that was stabbed?
Man, it was so many I can't even count. I remember one time I was in the high desert, and every time we came up for yours, somebody was getting stabbed. And back then they had the 6 and 9 month lockdowns, so we had just come off a 6 month lockdown. You go to 2, 3 yards, 2, 3 people that got stabbed or killed, and now you back on a 6, 9 month lockdown, and it's just continuous.
Right. And so what he's saying is that when somebody goes to the yard, they get stabbed. Eventually, once the COs come over there, They secure the scene. Eventually, everybody is sent back to their cell, and now they're stuck in the cell anywhere from 6 to 9 months. So you're not leaving the cell except for if you're going to a doctor's appointment or you're going to see the dentist or something like that. But outside of that, the food is brought to your cell. The mail is delivered to your cell. There's no extra special privileges, no phone calls. You're showering every 3 days if you're lucky. You're basically living in a bathroom with another human. So when this dude has to go to the bathroom, he has to defecate. You're in there smelling that. It's no way to live, man. It's no way to live. And so now that you're free, what's it like waking up in your own bed, man?
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I remember because when I first got out, I'm in a hotel take. I'm pacing. They tell me a day before I'm going home. So I'm in a holding take pacing. It's a dude. He's sitting right next to me. He's trying to make small talk with me. So I asked him. I said, "Hey man, how long you just do?" He said, "Man, I just did 16 months." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So in my mind, I'm like, "Oh man, I'm not even trying to talk to you right now. I got things on my mind." So as soon as they release me, I get on the bus. And mind you, my brother drive all the way 10 hours at night to get there.
Right. So hold on. I hate to interrupt, but if you don't mind, set the scenario a little bit better. You say you're in the holding tank. They had brought you to the county jail, or you're in the holding tank?
No. When I went to court through the Zoom. So I'm in a prison holding tank.
Oh, okay.
Because my attorney said, if you go back down to the county jail, that they're going to still have to bring you back down to prison for you to be released.
So you had your meeting on Zoom in prison. And so right after the judge ruled in your favor, were you immediately released? How long did it take for you to after you had that hearing to get in that prison holding tank?
I took my deal on June 3rd, 2024. On June 5th, 2024, the parole lady came to see me. She said, "Mr. Stevens, you're going home tomorrow, June 6th. You have no parole, no probation." And the next day, so 3 days later, after I took my deal, I was released back into society.
Okay, that's fast, right? Because I was locked up with a dude, and he went back to court and got some time removed. Well, he was a lifer. He went back to court. He got some time removed, so he wasn't a lifer, and it still took about 2 or 3 weeks for him to get released. So damn, after your little Zoom meeting, in 2-3 days, a lady spoke to you. She said, "Okay, Mr. Stevens, you going home. You up out of here tomorrow." So what was that feeling like starting from that point?
Man, I couldn't believe it. I went back to the cell. I'm dialing on my tablet. And just like when it happened when you get some great news, ain't nobody answering.
Right.
So I'm calling everybody. I'm like, man, I just got to tell somebody. I got to tell somebody. So the first person I tell is my wife. She said, "You lying?" I said, "Nah, man, I'm for real."
Yeah.
She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Man, look, I'm for real. I come home tomorrow."
Yeah.
So then, boom, I finally talked to my mama. I'm like, "Mama, I got something important to tell you." She like, "What?" She like, "When you coming home, boy?" I said, "Man, I'm coming home tomorrow." She said, "What?" "Oh, no, stop lying. Then she started shouting to God.
Man, hey, look, homie, you got me feeling so good right now, man. That's definitely a blessing, man. So let me ask you, because okay, you come back from the meeting. You said I had to just tell somebody. I had to tell somebody. So of course, by me going through a similar situation, I know it's a bunch of people in jail, right? You got a bunch of people around you doing life and this and that, but you wanted to share the news with your family. But also, homie, when I got found suitable, I didn't want to tell anybody else who had life, because I know it's a happiness to see you going home, but it's also for a person doing a life sentence, not knowing when they're getting out. It's sometimes it can be rough. So how did you approach that situation about telling other dudes who had life in prison?
Well, the dudes I messed with, I told them. And then, you know what? Then I thought to myself, I said, you know what? I'm going to start telling everybody, because it's going to give them hope.
Yeah.
And every person I told, they said, "Damn, man, it made me want to get on my legal work. It made me want to do my law work. Man, you just gave me hope."
Right. Because, I told this story a couple of times, man. I was in Salinas with 2 dudes. I believe they was crimees, man, on the same case. They had life sentences. One dude, for whatever reason, he lost his hope. He went and he got his court transcripts. he threw them in the trash. He said, man, it's over. I'm here forever. The other dude that was on the same case as him continued to fight. In a few years down the line, he ended up obtaining his freedom. So I say all that to say, homie, you said something that was very extremely important, man. Regardless of what situation a person may find themselves in, hope is the most important thing. Because anytime you give up hope, you can find yourself in prison. And then once you give up hope, then you start doing things that can be a detriment to your freedom. Had you went to prison and gave up hope and just went willy-nilly and stabbing people every day, every other day, or fighting all the time, once you got in a position, those laws came in place to get you to gain you your freedom, you may have not been able to obtain your freedom. True or untrue?
That's very true. I be even the brothers that be tapping in with me from the pen right now, because I got a gang of people hitting me up on Instagram that's in prison. Like asking me how did I get out, reaching out to their families. So it's very inspirational. It's very much needed. And I always tell brothers, don't never give up, because the moment you give up is the moment where if you would have kept pushing, something good was gonna happen for you.
Most definitely. And so, okay, so my bad. Back to the story. So you tell your people, okay, I'm gonna be home tomorrow. What takes place from there?
So now I'm about to go to sleep early. I already gave away all my property. As soon as I took my deal on June 3rd, I gave away my property.
Okay, well, give us a little bit of that. So what it's like? They tell you going home. So what do you pass out? For the people who've never been to prison, let them know. What do you know? Who you hitting with stuff?
They tell me when I'm going. They say, "Hey man, you going home?" So I say, "Okay." I mess with this person, this person, this person. So now I got a list. This person I'm gonna give my hygiene. This person I'm gonna give my television. This person I'm gonna give my earbuds. This person I'm gonna give my CDs. This person, I'm gonna give my shoes. This person I'm gonna give my clothes. So I'm just handing out all these things. All the brothers is getting excited. And then the last thing I gave away was
Let me ask you this. Was they more excited that you was going home, or they was getting some free stuff?
Man, I think it was both of them. It's a cold world like that, man. They're excited that you're leaving, but they're even more excited that they're getting your shit.
Yeah, because they figure stay going home, but he gonna be good out there, so I might as well come up on some free stuff, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so then you give away your stuff, and then what?
And then I called my grandma. I said, "Grandma, I'm gonna call you tomorrow." I don't tell her I'm getting out of prison.
Yeah.
So I said, "I'm gonna call you tomorrow." So my brother come get me. We drive to 10 hours. My brother say, "Don't go nowhere." He tell my grandma, "Don't go nowhere. I got a gift for you." So we end up pulling up, and then he tell her to come outside. So when she come outside,
okay, hold on, real quick. I hate to interrupt, but I might have to interrupt a few times during this because you hadn't been in a car, right, for about 17 years.
Nah, I hadn't been in the car. I hadn't been in the car for 17 years.
For people who don't know, it's a big difference, man. When you're transported somewhere from prison and you're sitting in the back of the bus or you're sitting in the back of a van, opposed to now you're in the front seat of a car going 65, 70 miles an hour. What was that like? Was that scary for you? Was it normal?
Nah, it was normal. I'm gonna keep it real. As soon as I got out of prison, it's like my whole mind stayed shifted back to the streets.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's still everything's still a huge readjustment, just based on I'm learning everything new. I've already drove on the freeway, and things of that nature already.
And so for me, once I got out, it almost felt, homie, like I had never even been to prison. How does that feel for you?
Well, I know at least the first 3-4 days, all I was telling myself, I'm like, man, I'm out. Man, is this real? Is this real? It was kind of like living in a dream, like in a movie. It's like, man, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
They like, man, you hungry? You hungry? You want to eat? I said, nah, man, I'm just running off adrenaline. I'm just happy to be out. I'm just enjoying every moment.
Right. Okay. And so my bad once again. So now you guys make the trip. You pull up.
Yeah. Then my brother called my grandma and tell her to come outside. So my mama get out the car. My brother, he in the back of me recording it. You see it on my Instagram. So I walk up and she said, "What's this?" I said, "Nana, I'm here." She says, "You here?" I said, "Yeah, then I'm here." She said, "But you said you was gonna call me tomorrow." I said, "Yeah, I know what I told you." She said, "Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God."
And that's definitely a blessing, man. So what was it like, homie, to to be back home, to be back from a place who you didn't know when you may ever see it, because in prison it's dangerous, it's treacherous. Like you mentioned, you had seen many people stabbed, and we never know what the next 10 minutes in prison is gonna bring. So what was that like, being back home?
Man, it was a huge just stress reliever, man. A huge reliever, a huge release. For the first time in my life, I was genuinely smiling from ear to ear, still smiling, still giving out good energy and positive vibes. And it's just like sometimes words can't even explain a blessing. It's a blessing.
Right. And so, like we mentioned earlier, you were sentenced to 50 years to life. So had not been for this new legal advancement, I guess I should say, when was your predicted board hearing?
Well, my predicted board hearing was January 17th of 2030, and that don't mean that they had to release me. That just mean I had the opportunity to be released in front of the parole board, and they could deny me 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. So my predicted release date was 2030 and on.
So you still basically had another 6 years to do.
Yes, I had another about 6 years to do before I potentially was released through the
Right,
parole board.
right. And so my question is this, man: Have you had any trepidation about going back to your old neighborhood? Because while there are many people who are glad that we're free, there's always going to be some that's not glad that we're free. And so, have you had any nervousness about, encountering people that may not be happy that you're free?
No, I wasn't nervous about it. The fellas actually threw a pool party for me about a week ago. And you go around, when you be in prison and you dealing with all these different personalities, going to events like that, it just show people for who they are. So now okay, I can mess with him, I ain't gonna mess with him. He may don't like me, I can feel that the vibe ain't right, and things of that nature. So I wasn't really nervous, or it doesn't bother me. It's just a eye opener coming out of prison and being able to monitor things under a microscope, and no different personalities. It's like, okay, this is just showing me who I'm dealing with. It wasn't really triggering. It didn't want to make me get back into the lifestyle. It actually opened my eyes and told me why I should keep spreading this positivity and this unity amongst the community, because now I see all the fakery going on, and that these dudes is misleading these dudes, and that they not really like that. So now I've been exposing it through the truth.
Right. And though when I posed that question to you, I was talking more um along the line of possibly friends, family members of your victims.
Well, my victim, his mother came to court, offer my sincere apologies to her. But she came to court, she told my judge that she felt like life wasn't enough, that 50 years of life wasn't enough, that I shouldn't be released, that I was making documentaries and writing books. So she didn't, or should I say, they didn't take that very well. But it was a lady that came with her. I guess it was one of her friends. She apologized for the incidents that occurred, because it stemmed from a fist fight, from someone putting their hands on me. And she apologized for the whole situation, that the guy was older than me. And she just says, that I hope that you can use your life as a guiding force, to the future generations, because you got a little bit of influence. So it was
Right,
kind of like mixed emotions.
right. And so how do you think, since you have been home and you've been talking to the youth and letting them know about your journey, do you feel that they've been receptive? Or, because I know sometimes um the right word I want to say is, I guess sometimes, some of these youngsters, man, you can come tell them, hey, listen, man, I just done X amount of time, and 10 minutes later they'll be right back around the corner with a gun shooting at somebody. So how do you feel as you convey your message? Do you feel they are being receptive, or it's what's your feeling?
Yeah, no, I feel that they are being very receptive, because, like I said, I'm getting messages on Instagram, and people are telling me, young gang members in general, keep up the good work, keep pushing the positivity for the community, because we need a leader to step up like you're doing, and just keep doing it, man, and we're gonna support you.
Right. And so, you know, I was talking to a friend earlier today, man. I'll say his name, a good brother who I was locked up with, done a lot of time. His name is 7up, a former blood from Athens. And he was just saying, he had said something to the effect of, it's crazy to him that people are still out here gangbanging, still, you know, killing each other over nothing. And like I say earlier, you mentioned that you was deeply regretful about your senseless killing. Is it kind of shocking to you that, you know, this lifestyle is still continuously going on?
No, because the lifestyle is like any other addiction. The lifestyle is like smoking weed. The lifestyle is like drinking alcohol. The lifestyle is like gambling. You know, it's just another addiction that, you know, that we all need help from and to recover from. You know, ain't nobody perfect. Things don't happen overnight, but I think what it is that we don't have enough people, you know, in the community that know what's right, pushing what's right instead of, you know, just saying they know what's right and allowing what's wrong.
Right. And so what are some of your plans in helping and contributing to positive energy out there in your community?
Okay, well, you know, I already got accepted into Sac State College, so you know I'm gonna continue my education. Last Saturday, I had went to my friend Terrence Mitchell, an NFL player. I went to his football camp in Sacramento at Burbank High School, and gave some words to the kids, and you know, gave them a speech, you know, about choices and decisions in life and why not to make the wrong decisions and choices based on my experience. Uh, you know, I'm talking to dudes. You know, I'm trying to quell things and calm things down. Also, you know, I'm going to meet with an organization called the Movement for Change, who deals with trying to solve problems with at-risk youth who are at risk of shooting other people. Uh, I'm going to the state capitol to protest for prison reform. You know, I think it's a Assembly Bill 2483, another resentencing bill. And hopefully I can get 30 seconds and, you know, share a little bit of my story with them and tell them, you know, why everybody deserves a second chance. I'm working on part 4 to the documentary, Finally Free. I had to submit a 10-minute film to San Quentin, which is in CDC, of one of my documentaries, and, you know, preach, you know, rehabilitation and hope to the brothers that's locked up inside. Uh, I'm trying to see if I'm gonna get this no jumper interview or this $1 million worth of game interview so I can go on and continue, you know, on a bigger platform of spreading my word and my life story. Because, you know, when I came home, first video I posted, you know, I did over 100,000 views. So, you know, I know a lot of people was interested in my story. So now I'm trying to use my influence, not trying to, but I am using my influence to make changes in the community. And I've already started doing it by action.
Well, that's what's up, man. And you know, I'm taking my hat off to you in your efforts to try to change and get the message out there and try to help influence other people to do better things, because unfortunately, man, it's a lot of us that's out there in these urban communities, in the streets, that's either losing our lives or losing our freedom to this, you know, this madness, to this street ideology and things of that nature, man. So by you doing all that time and you recently coming home, what are some of the joys, man? What are some of the things that you find in life that are pleasing now, that things that you know that you took for granted? What are some of the things that
Man, look, man,
you
you ask anybody that be by me, be with me, I'm smiling all the time. And every little thing I say is a blessing. Waking up as a free man, blessing. Being able to open the door, blessing. Being able to hop in the shower when you want to, blessing. Being able to be around your woman, blessing. Being able to be around your kids, your nieces, and your nephews, blessings. Being able to just wake up and breathe a fresh breath of freedom is a major blessing.
right? And so what are some of the foods? What are some of the things that you're doing? You know, that that you wasn't doing 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Did everything. I'm going out to eat. Went to the movies with my woman. Uh, went to a bar. I ain't never been to a bar. You know, things like that. Just small things. Being
Right,
with my nieces and my nephews, having an impact on them,
right,
having them gravitate towards me with no qualms about it, not, you know, being shy around me, loving me. So, you know, these are just the blessings in life.
right. And so what's it like once again, you know, to be back, being able to spend time with your mother, your grandmother, people who are extremely important to you?
Well, this time is different because, you know, when you come back from a life sentence, that's like a near-death experience. So now I'm like on a whole different time. You know, everything I take serious because, you know, you get out here, you're observing things, and a lot of people ain't taking life serious. You know, they out here coping with their problems, whatever way they got to cope with it, and they're not dealing with reality. So, you know, now I'm living, you know, a better reality. And this reality I know shouldn't be taken for granted because I just came home when, you know, back in 2010 when I went to prison, life meant life.
Right. Right. And so I don't know if you have got a chance to or not, but have you looked at YouTube and seen a lot of these prison YouTube channels and just the fascination that people have with the prison channels and stuff like that?
Well, not really on YouTube because I you know, on YouTube I'll be watching 19 Keys and things like that. But I notice on Instagram, man, people tune in a lot when, you know, I'll be talking about prison and things like that, or a story that didn't happen in prison. People tune in a lot, so I'm aware that people are fascinated with, you know, guys that's been incarcerated, especially for long periods of times, and had a long journey.
Right. And so today, man, it sounds like you out, you by some swimming pool, you hanging out, man. You just enjoying your freedom, huh?
Yeah, I'm about to go swim with the niece and nephews, toss them in the pool, man, a few times, man, and just cherish these moments.
Most definitely, homie. So look, I'm gonna let you get around to enjoying your family, enjoying your newfound freedom, man. Congratulations. But for everybody that's interested, man, tell them where you can be found, your Instagram, your YouTube, or whatever you're doing, man. Let us know where we can check up on your progress.
Man, you can find out about me, man, on big_state_. It's my Instagram. It's kind of like a small reality TV show. You can keep up with me. And as long as you follow that, you're going to follow all my other projects and greatness that's prepared to happen in the future.
Hey, well, homie, listen, man, I know that you're happy. I know your family is happy. But honestly, I'm sincerely happy for you, man, because I know what it's like to, you know, to be up in prison. You know, sometimes, man, you know, after a while, I know, like maybe when I got to about year 15, man, after, you know, 15, 16 years, after a while, you get frustrated. You get tired of doing the same old stuff day in and day out. You know, when we young, it doesn't affect us as much, you know, but
it's like the Matrix. It's like the
right.
Matrix.
Now that you're older, you know, after a while, we be like, damn, man, you know, now going to the yard, watching somebody get beat up or stabbed, it ain't as fun as it was 10 years ago, you know?
It gets old. Now the only thing in your mind is I want to go home.
Right. And so now knowing that, you know, what you went through and now you home, man, it definitely, I can empathize with that situation. So it definitely makes me happy, homie. It definitely makes me happy to know that you're out there, you're enjoying your freedom. And to me, any time is a great time to come home, but it's always lovely to come home in the summertime, man. It's a beautiful weather. People are outside enjoying life, and it's great, man.
Exactly. Can't say it better than that.
Hey, so listen, homie, I'm gonna let you get back to doing what you was doing. I appreciate you, man, for taking time out of your day, taking time out of your newfound freedom to come on my platform and share a little bit of what you've been through. Hey, man, my hats off to you. Enjoy yourself. Hey, stay free, man, and stay focused on the path of righteousness, man, like you have been.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings.
Most definitely, man. Have a good one. And tell everybody, your family, I said hello.
Hey, man, your boy Big State of Prisoner's voice is out.
90% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move. Whatever click you choose.